Hello friends, welcome to Coder Thoughts. Today I will be sharing with you my experience of interview with OneFootball. Now, just to give you a context, I was living in India and I wanted to move to Germany. And I was interviewing with a lot of companies, but OneFootball is the one company with which I came to Germany after cracking their interview. So I thought maybe sharing with you my interview experience, you will get to know how the interview process is in Germany and how can you ace the interview. Now, a lot of companies in Germany have the same interview pattern. Um, a bit here and there for some companies, but overall they look for the same qualities. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. So the first round is HR, just one-to-one interview thing, mostly introduction, you can call it HR introduction, where she introduces you about the company, what they are doing and things like that. She also asks about you, what is your profile. She checks if your profile matches the job description which she is looking for. And once she's satisfied with your answers, she just tells you that yeah, I can schedule you for the next round. Now in my case, I was scheduled for the hiring manager round, and she told me that after, if I crack the hiring manager round, there will be a mini project coding challenge, and post that there will be 3 or 4 rounds depending on what level they find me in, and that will be it. So I was like, yeah, sure, fine, why not. Then after a week, I got scheduled for the hiring manager round, and I had this interview for 1 hour. Over here, the hiring manager was more curious to know about what I'm doing, what I have been doing in the past in detail. It was not just like a overview. He wanted to know about the project in detail. He wanted to know about my current project in detail, like what I'm doing, what is my role in the team, how many members I'm coordinating with, how I'm achieving the goals, did I fail, why did I fail, what was the thing that I would do better next time, things like that. So he's wanted to know the entire structure of how I work as of now, or as of today, you can say. He also wanted to know if I'm working in an agile system and things like that. And this was totally perfect. Of course, he was pretty satisfied with my answers. He was also happy with the project which I was doing with Qualys. And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's move on to the next round. I will share with you a coding challenge, which will be a mini project, and you have to give that back to me in 5 days or something. So I was like, okay, fine, that's totally fine with me. I was expecting that. That evening, I got the coding challenge. I understood the challenge, what they wanted me to do, how they wanted me to do, what was the scope of it. Fortunately for me, they described it really, really well. But yeah, one point to note: if your company, I mean, the company with which you are interviewing with, does not give you boundaries on the mini project, you should definitely ask them, because the the mini projects which they give can be done, like they don't have any boundaries, right? Because there is always some kind of feature which would be good to have in a mini project. And that's the reason these projects could span like more than, like, I don't know, like never end, right? There will always be a new feature coming up. So for these mini projects, you should always have some boundaries. So fortunately for me, OneFootball did mention the boundaries, what they were expecting, what features that they were expecting, and what limitations they were fine with. So I did not had any questions, but if you ever have that, yeah, please do ask them. That would be better for you, because then you will know how much effort you need to put. You should not over put your efforts, you should not under put your efforts, right? Okay, now everything was laid down. I knew the requirement, I knew what they were looking for. They also gave me the points on, okay, you need to have clean code. We will judge your code based on how much golang pattern friendly you are, like basically the design pattern and everything, how much edge cases you handle, how many unit test cases or coverage you have, what kind of them you have, if you have any integration test case, what is this or what is that. And they also told that, yeah, a good readme would be much better to have, so that they know how to build and execute the project. And they were fine if I don't have any CI/CD in place, but sometimes companies do, so do watch out for that. So I was like, yeah, okay, fine. That is my goal, and that is what I will work on. While working on the project, I was always trying to make it the best. So I followed the clean code, which was for Golang. So always use a nice linter with the latest rules for your project, which would be like stricter, I would say, so that clean code is followed, and you code really nice. Because yeah, of course you will solve the solution, and that is generally pretty easier when you go for such type of mini project coding challenges. But you also need to have clean code in place, you need to have unit test cases in place, you need to have right coverage for it, you need to have integration tests and everything. So it took me nice 5 days, and I was able to come up with a nice solution. I thought I had a nice architecture, a design pattern also in place, and I was satisfied with it. So I did mail them the link and everything, that this is the coding challenge, this is how it works, hope you can find this. And basically, yeah, that's it. Then after 1 week, I got a mail from them like, hey, we liked your code, and we would like to move forward with you, and we will have HR behavioral round, then we will have pair coding round, we will have bar raiser round. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty nice. And they were like, yeah, and we will also have system design interview. I was like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. The only thing was, all these rounds were in 1 day. This is something very typical when you interview in Germany. Generally they have this 1 day where they will take all the rounds. So be ready with that mindset. And yeah, it's totally fine, I guess. Even though it was like 4 hours long, but it was pretty good. So, and they are like back to back. So the result of one interview does not determine if you would be giving the another interview. It is more of like they take back to back all the four interviews, and then they will ask each of them individually on what their opinion was from their sector, like the part they were supposed to handle. For example, HR was taking my behavioral round, so she would rate me based on my behavioral score, and all these scores then eventually will form, and that is either you have cracked the interview or you have not cracked the interview. So yeah, I was there for the HR behavioral questions. They were like pretty generic, I would say. Most of them were related to how did I handle my day-to-day work, how do I take up work, how do I see there is a problem in something, how do I see if someone gives me constructive feedback, or what if someone has a different opinion than of mine? How do I communicate with my team members? What some situational kind of thing as to, okay, if this situation occurs, what would you do? So it was more of like the behavioral thing which they were asking me, and yeah, it was pretty good. Then uh, she was done. All these went on for 1 hour. She went off. Then the second was like the um, system design interview. It was pretty good. It was like just designing an API. What more important this interview was about was like, when do I know that I have to use a queue, or when do I know that I have to use a separate service? I should not do that particular thing in the same service. So more focused on how to design the microservice architecture, and how I can do it better. So it was pretty good, I would say. I also asked the interviewer my feedback, because that is something I always like in system design interviews, especially because at that particular point of time, that was something really new for me. I think I just gave about 2 or 3 system design interviews by them, and as it is the start, I like to interact with them. And he was pretty fine with it. He was like, yeah, yeah, you are really good at it, and I was happy about it. With this positive feedback, I went to the next round. This round was more of kind of like uh, fastest finger first, I would say. Not exactly, but like rapid fire questions. So they were asking me one question after the another, and it was over everything. Like uh, it could be system design, it could be about Golang specific, it could be about Golang design pattern. When would you use pointers, when you would not, when it is good to have interface, when it is not, when you would write a test case for this edge or that, or when you would design a system, or when you would separate a service, when you would do this. So it was like a rapid fire question. You have to be quick and answer as fast as you can. And before you even have answered something and you feel that, okay, is it this, you just move on to the next question. Yeah. So after that heavy heart pounding, I went to the third interview. It was pair coding, and it was also a way of me getting to know what I actually did in my code. So the guy had already all the knowledge of what I did in the code. He had reviewed my code, and he told me that there are some edge cases which I did not think of. So how would I fix those? And so I fixed them in front of him, and I also had to speak out loud. In terms of pair coding, whenever it is pair coding, you always have to speak out loud as to what you are thinking, what you are doing, so that if you go in the wrong direction, the idea is that you are able to code with a team. Okay, so this is something which is really fruitful when you're working on systems. You don't know all the systems, you cannot know the entire infrastructure of the company, and then it's always good to have sometimes a pair coding kind of thing, where you code with a person who also has half knowledge, you have half knowledge, then you share your knowledge, he shares his knowledge, and then you both work on the solution. So this round is more about that, and he directed me. I tried to do my best in the code pair coding, and yeah, that was it. I was fine with it because I thought that, okay, at least I communicated well. Yeah, I was a bit nervous, which he noticed eventually as well, but yeah, it was fine. Then 1 week I waited for their mail, and their mail came, and it was like, yeah, we want to meet you for half an hour. And I started to think, okay, is it a rejection, or they have selected me? Because I have this experience with German companies. They will call you and tell you why they rejected you. even if you like, yeah, generally in India it does not happen. If they rejected you, you just get a generic mail that, hey, you know what, we found a better candidate, but yeah, better luck next time, blah 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 blah, the same old shit. But in Germany, like at least the German companies which I interacted with, for example, this happened once with Zalando. Like they they told me that, yeah, we want to get in contact with you. I was like, yeah, okay, maybe they're sharing with me the good news, because that is what I'm used to, if the company contacts you after the interview. But they were like, yeah, so basically what happened is your interview went well, everything is fine, but unfortunately there is an internal employee of our who want to be in the position where you want to be, and because of our policy, blah blah blah, unfortunately we cannot hire you. But yeah, we are open to hiring you because you got selected sometime in February or something. And I was like, yeah, fine, thanks for letting me know. Although it's a sad thing for me, but yeah. So I was thinking, yeah, this could be either a rejection or this could be this. I was very much curious. I just attended the meeting, and over there it was the hiring manager. He explained to me all the things, all the feedback from all the rounds. Like, okay, they saw this, these things good in you, they saw these things bad in you. And I was like, okay, so you're telling me the good points and the bad point. So is it the I was still getting curious. I did not ask him, but I was like, yeah, okay, just tell me the result. I don't care right now, although you should care. But I was at that time in that mentality, I was very much excited, and I was like, am I getting it or am I not? And then eventually he spoke the words which I wanted to hear, that I was selected. I was happy for sure. And then he told that, yeah, this is the offer we are giving you, XYZ, and then you can come here and things like that. We will give you this, all the general contractual things. I was like, yeah, that's nice, nice to hear. And yeah, that is how I got to OneFootball. Would like to talk about some other interviews as well, but in future videos. Hope this helps you, and you get a job as well, maybe in OneFootball or maybe in some other German company, or maybe somewhere else where they have similar kind of rounds. Until then, see you.